Dr. Velix of the Tryonian Medical Corps prided himself on being the foremost xenobiologist in the galaxy. His knowledge of over 300 species' anatomy, chemistry, and evolutionary quirks made him a regular guest at interstellar conferences. So when the first human soldier was brought in after a brutal firefight on Valtrex 9, Velix expected to treat the creature like any other primitive bipedal lifeform. The human, unconscious but alive, lay on the examination table, his uniform torn and soaked in blood, some his own, some not. Velix examined the charts and burst out laughing, his long, translucent fingers fluttering in amusement. 3 liters of blood loss and no regenerative glands? Their hearts only have 4 chambers? And their bones are filled with soft tissue. Marrow? He cackled, addressing the other Tryonian interns hovering nearby. Primitive. Fragile. A miracle they survived long enough to invent interstellar travel. One of the interns hesitantly asked, "Should we start stabilizing it?" Velix replied, sneering. "This creature shouldn't have survived 5 minutes in a plasma-swept battlefield. Let it expire. It's a waste of resources." But protocol required at least a basic scan before disposal, so Velix initiated the full-spectrum bioprobe. He expected more absurdities, perhaps a cholesterol-laden vascular system or primitive immune functions. Instead, his amusement drained from his face as the results began pouring in. The first anomaly hit him like a cold plasma shock. Wait, its adrenal levels are how high? It should be in cardiac arrest. Then came the second. Its pain receptors. It overrode them during combat? That's impossible without cybernetic implants. Another wave of data rolled in, and the room fell silent. Human cellular structures were in a state of controlled chaos, damaged yet healing at an accelerated pace. Cortisol levels were through the roof, yet the brain activity showed no signs of psychotic degradation. Neural pathways had rewired themselves in response to trauma. The liver had filtered poisons Velix himself couldn't survive with 3 days prep and a biostabilizer. And then came the kicker, a genetic marker blinking red on the screen. Velix froze. No, that's not possible. He ran the analysis again. Confirmed. The human's DNA was adapting, not slowly, not over generations, but in real time. The cells had already begun to reinforce themselves against Tryonian bacterial strains. Its white blood cells were duplicating at 3 times the galactic average. Velix stepped back, breath caught in his throat sac. This wasn't a fragile creature. It was a monster of evolution, not because of elegance or design, but because of brutality. It wasn't efficient. It was desperate, chaotic, and utterly relentless. "Doctor," the intern whispered, "should we sedate it?" Velix looked at the vitals. "It's already conscious." The human's eyes opened slowly, blood still drying on his face. He didn't speak. He just stared at Velix, as if sizing him up. "You can understand me, can't you?" Velix said, trying to mask the sudden unease. The human's lips curled into a weak grin. "Yeah, heard you laughing earlier." Velix stiffened. "Your physiology, it's ugly?" The human rasped. "That's what kept us alive on Earth. Pain, stress, damage, we just keep going. Evolution wasn't kind. It was cruel. We adapted to suffer. And you know what suffering breeds." Velix didn't respond. "Survivors." The monitors beeped wildly as the human sat up. Broken ribs cracking into place, pain ignored. He tore out the 4 and stood on shaky legs. Still bleeding, still alive. Velix took an involuntary step back. He wasn't looking at a patient anymore. He was looking at a warrior. And for the first time in his career, Dr. Velix of the Tryonian Medical Corps, the most arrogant xenobiologist in the galaxy, understood why entire battle-hardened alien species feared humans. Not because of strength, but because nothing ever told them to stop.